I was reading something today, and honestly, it made me to stop for a minute and think. Donald Trump Jr. reportedly sent supporters an email telling them to complete a Republican questionnaires before 11:59 p.m. So it came across there was this huge headline that couldn't wait for another day. Now, at first, I didn't think much of it. Political campaigns send emails all the time. But then I started thinking something different. Pay attention to this. Why does everything in politics always seem like an emergency? Why is it always like final warning you hear, last chance you hear, act before the midnight? After a while, you start wondering whether these campaigns are actually trying to inform people or probably simply keep them in a constant state of urgency. That is a bigger story right here. Now, according to the reports, the email encouraged supporters to complete a questionnaires and send it back before midnight. That was a simple thing. Now, there's nothing unusual about political fundraising by itself, but every major political party raises money. That's normal. Republicans, they do it. Democrats, even they do it. That's completely, absolutely normal as a part of a political career. Now, what caught my attention wasn't the fundraising, it was the language right here. Everything sounds urgent. I just don't get it, why it sounds urgent. Everything feels like the biggest moment in the history. Everything has to happen right now. And I just don't get it. So if you probably ever opened the political email, you probably seen it yourself. Only hours left, like few hours left, critical headlines, emergency, your membership could expire. So these kind of emails you probably see. And don't let other side win. And others seeing this over and over again. So people naturally start asking these kind of questions, and it's normal. Why does every email feels like it's so emergency? If things are going so well, why is there always another urgent request or money? That's what the critics are really pointing out. So they're basically saying campaigns increasingly rely on emotions and pressure to get people respond quickly. Supporters would probably argue there's nothing wrong about that. Marketing works. Urgency gets attentions totally, and we all know that. Businesses, they do it every single day. Political campaigns, they do it too every single time. So this isn't about really whether sending the email was illegal or legal. There's no evidence that it was. The real discussion is about how politics is changing totally in the United States of America. The bigger picture is this. Think about politics today compared to 20 or 30 years ago. It feels like a completely different story, a completely different color. Campaigns don't really stop anymore. Even after elections, email keeps coming over and over again. Fundraisings keep just going over and over again. Social media never sleeps and became more viral now. Everyone is asking for donations. Everyone says this election is the most important elections ever for this country. After years of hearing that, some Americans are simply exhausted. Not because of one email, because they feel politics has become one endless campaign. Urgency. Instead of hearing solutions every single day, people hear fundraising every single time in all the emails. Instead of hearing about lowering prices, they hear another deadline. I just don't get it. Instead of hearing about fixing the people's problem, they hear something this, request for money. And that's probably why stories like this, they attract attention everywhere. So people aren't only reacting to Donald Trump Jr.'s email, they are basically reacting to years of political fundraising that never seems to slow down. So another question, here's something worth thinking about it. If campaigns are constantly asking supporters for money, where does all that money actually go? Think about this. Political campaigns cost billions of dollars. As we know that advertising, the biggest thing, staff, travel, rallies, digital marketing, which is now expensive, pooling, legal expenses, all of those things cost a lot of money. But for ordinary Americans who are struggling with higher living costs, seeing constant kind of fundraising emails, whatever you're getting, can feel disconnected from everyday life, what you're basically living. That's why some people have become more skeptical about this. They aren't necessarily rejecting one political party. No, they're basically questioning the whole fundraising culture. What's really going on with this? So the bottom line, so when I saw this story, I didn't see it as something about one midnight deadline. I saw it as probably another example how American politics has become non-stop campaign. Now, every week there's another urgent email. Another countdown really starts. Another deadline comes in, which we really have to pay attention. Another request for the money, which we have to pay using our debit credit cards. Whether you support Republicans, Democrats, or neither, I think most people can agree on one thing. Americans want leaders to spend more time solving the problems than sending fundraising emails. Because at some point, people stop asking, should I donate? they start asking something much bigger. Why does politics always want more money? Maybe that's the real conversation about this story should really start. Think about this and let me know in the comments below what do you think. And thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you. See you in the next video.